Hi again. Let me just do a few examples from this set of exercises, interpret two-way tables. I'm going to look at this one. Here you have a survey of 34 students, and they were asked whether they had a curfew or not, and whether they had chores or not. Now, I'm going to rule out the ones that are not correct. The majority of the students have a curfew. When you look at the students who have a curfew, there are 16 in total who have a curfew, yes? And there are 18 students who do not have a curfew. So you cannot say that the majority have a curfew. That's out. More than half of the students do not have chores and do not have a curfew. The people who do not have chores and do not have a curfew are 10 people out of 34. That's not more than half. That is out. If a student does not have chores, so among the students who do not have chores, it is more likely that then they have a curfew. No, among these students who do not have chores, they are more likely to not have a curfew. But this one says they're more likely to have a curfew. No, that's not correct. Only four of them have a curfew. 10 of them do not have a curfew out of the 14. So when it says if a student does not have a chore, it means forget about all the other students, forget about this 20, only look at this 14, the ones who do not have chores. Are they more likely to have curfew or not? They're more likely to not have curfew. So this would be wrong. If a student has a curfew, okay, that means only look at this row. Yes, only look at these 16 people. If a student has a curfew, only in this row, it is more likely that they have chores. That's correct. 12 out of 16 have chores, 4 do not have chores. So among the students who have a curfew, they're more likely to have chores. That one is the correct one. Let's take a look at this one. Here you have a table. Here the category is do not own cell phone, own cell phone. And here is did not bring a device and brought a device. And what you're given are row percentages. If you're given row percentages, that means this number is comparable with this number, but this number is not comparable with this number. The right answer is this. A student who owns a cell phone, that means only in this group. And these two numbers are comparable. So that would be, that makes sense to compare 80% and 20%. A student who owns a cell phone is more likely to have brought a personal device. 80% is more than 20%. That's true. So that would be the right answer here. Also, let me just take a look at this other type of exercise. The trends in categorical data. Do a couple of, just maybe one example from that as well. So interpreting two-way tables, I did that one. Trends in categorical data. Okay. So many students had difficulty with this one. Here we have the result of a survey in a neighborhood. 62 people were surveyed, and they were asked 2 questions: whether they have children or they don't have children, and whether they rollerblade or they don't rollerblade. 41 have kids and rollerblade. 9 do not have kids but rollerblade. 3 have kids but do not rollerblade. And there are 9 people out of the 62 who do not have kids or do not rollerblade. Now, we are given these informations. We know that David is a person who is focusing on his career and does not have children. So that's what we know about David. David has no children. David has no kids. And what do we know about Anastasia? We know that she has never rollerbladed. So for Anastasia, never no rollerblade. These are the informations that we have about these 2 people. And we also have a third person, Miles. And we know that Miles is very tall. So Miles is tall. Basically, we know nothing about Miles except that he is tall. So the information that is provided about Miles has nothing to do with the information presented in this table. It's totally irrelevant. Now, what are the questions? Probability that David is a rollerblader. Probability that David is a rollerblader. So what is the probability that David is a roller blader? Okay. So what do we know about David? We know that David has no kids. If David has no kids, he is among these 18 people. That means you can totally disregard the 44 people who have kids because David is not among them. David is among these 18 people who have no kids. From these 18 people, 9 of them rollerblade and the other 9 do not rollerblade. So what is the probability that David is among the 9 who rollerblade? That's going to be 9 over the total of 18. So that's going to be 1/2 or 50%. Second one, it says probability that Anastasia does not have kids. Probability that Anastasia has no kids. What information do we have about Anastasia? We know that she does not rollerblade. If she does not rollerblade, then she is among these 12 people here. She is one of the people who do not rollerblade. So we can totally disregard these 50 people. Yes, we can only look at the people who do not rollerblade. And among these people, 3 have kids, 9 of them do not have kids. So the probability that Anastasia is among these 9 people who do not have kids is going to be 9/12, which is 3/4, which is 75%. Now, what about Miles? What is the probability that Miles is a rollerblader? What is the probability of that? We know nothing about Miles that is relevant. Yes, we only know that he's tall. So he could be any of these 62 people. He could be any of these 62 people. So that's the number I put in the denominator. Now, what is the probability that he's a rollerblader? 50 of them are rollerbladers. So 50/62. And in order to get the percentage, I will have to multiply that by 100. And that would be the percentages. Okay, I hope these 2 examples help you answer the questions. So please retry them. Try